Okay, so if you guys clicked on this video, chances are you're new to Deadlock, or you guys are wanting to get better at Deadlock, or any combination of the two. My name is Father Tran. I'm currently an Eternus 2 player, and I'm top 100 on a couple of characters in the game. And I really want to talk about timing and teach you guys about when things spawn, how often they respawn, and what the importance of each objective is. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is timing. So what do I mean when I say timing? So there are a lot of different objectives within the game that spawn at different points in the game. And I think it's very advantageous to know and understand when things are going to spawn and how long it takes for each objective to respawn. Along with this, I'm going to show you guys the most efficient ways to be clearing these things and how to properly show up at these objectives so you guys can properly take advantage of these things in your guys' games. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover is jungle camps. T1 camps spawn at 2 minutes, and then they respawn every 1 minute and 25 seconds. T2 camps spawn at 6 minutes, and then respawn every 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And T3 camps spawn at 8 minutes and respawn every 5 minutes and 35 seconds. So I'm going to show you guys the most efficient way to clear the T1 camps. Again, these camps spawn every 2 minutes, or they spawn at 2 minutes, and then they respawn about roughly every 2 minutes. T1 camps are characterized on your minimap by the single arrow. There's only one arrow here that's stacked, and that's how you identify the T1 camps across the map. There is one in each lane, so there's one here in the yellow lane. There's one on both sides of the blue lane, and then there is one on the green lane. So the most efficient way to clear these camps, and this trick does work with every champ in the game, is if you shoot one in front of you, if you want to stand in the middle of one of these T1 camps and you want to heavy melee while looking at the other camp, or at the other mob. Again, you're just going to heavy melee, standing in the middle of one and looking at the other, and you should be able to hit both. Okay, the next objective I want to talk about is the Sinner Sacrifice. You might hear some people call it the punch machine or the gambling machine. Either term you hear, this is what they're referring to. So Sinner Sacrifice actually spawns at 8 minutes, and then after fully clearing the Sinner Sacrifice, they respawn every 5 minutes. These actually have a hidden mechanic that I don't think gets explained in the game. I haven't played the tutorial in a really long time. I don't even know if there is a tutorial, but I'm going to show you guys how these work. So what you're going to do is when you walk up to these, you're going to heavy melee them, and you're going to see that these lights at the top, they kind of act like a health bar for the Sinner Sacrifice. So you want to keep on heavy meleeing them until all the lights run out. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now I want you to pay attention. Now the lights are not just like a health bar, they're kind of loading like a loading bar. It's also very important to mention or to note that you also lose health whenever you are hitting the Sinner Sacrifice. So the hidden mechanic behind Sinner Sacrifice is you actually have to time the lights at the top with your heavy melee. And the easiest way to do this is if you look at the lights here at the top, you want to heavy melee when the third light from the right is completely lit up. So I'll show you guys how this works. Boom. That third light is lit up. And now, as you guys can see, after successfully hitting that Sinner Sacrifice, I got 4 permanent buffs. Because the Sinner Sacrifice gives you 4 permanent buffs upon successful completion, these are really important to prioritize throughout the game. And that's also why I want to talk about the timing of the Sinner Sacrifice. So because the Sinner Sacrifice spawns at 8 minutes, you want to make sure you position yourself around the map to be at the enemy's Sinner Sacrifice or your own at the 8-minute mark, and then throughout the rest of the game. Next very important timer that I want to be talking about is the bridge buff timer. So bridge buffs spawn at 5 minutes and then every 5 minutes after the first 5 minutes. So the reason why it is very, very, very crucial to understand bridge buff timings is because a bridge buff can quite literally make or break your lane. For example, in this game, I missed the timer there by half a second, so I'd been contested, I might have missed that. But for example, in this game, the buff that I just got was a movement buff, which is probably the worst buff to get in the early game, but nevertheless, it's still very important to take this away from your enemy so they don't get the bridge buff. The other bridge buffs that you can get in the game are the vitality buff, the ammo buff, the casting buff, and the movement buff. So make sure that you or your teammate or someone on your team is at the bridge buff at the 5-minute mark so you guys can secure an early advantage over the enemy team. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the Soul Urn. The Soul Urn spawns at 10 minutes and then every 5 minutes after that, along with the bridge buffs. Whichever team successfully completes the turn-in of the urn, it awards a large amount of souls for either team. I don't know the exact soul amount. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. But some important things that you should probably know about the urn is that it is very easy to steal the urn and drop the urn. So You can force the player carrying the urn to drop the urn by either hitting them with a light melee, a heavy melee, or the one that a lot of people don't know about is with any abilities that cause melee damage. So for example, Drifter's 1, his slash, or Calico's slash, or any other ability that I can't think of at the moment. But the other way is if you get hard CC'd. So if you get, I don't know, stunned by an Abrams charge or stunned by anything else, you will automatically drop the urn, in which your team will enter a urn lockout period, so you guys cannot pick up the urn again within a certain amount of time. The reason why this mechanic is very important to understand is because you always want to do whatever you can to prevent the enemy team from turning in the urn. Okay, so the next objective I want to talk about is the mid-boss. The mid-boss initially spawns at 10 minutes, and then actually their respawn time changes after each death up to the third death. So I believe the first death, it would be 7 minutes, and then 6 minutes, and then 5 minutes. And then every time it dies after the third time, the respawn time is always going to be every 5 minutes. So what does the mid-boss give, and what is it? Why is it so important? Whichever team successfully kills the mid-boss, I believe each member of the killing team gets 2 of the golden statue buffs. So these are any random stat buffs, could be max ammo, max health, etc., etc. But the most important thing is the green crystal dropping down in the middle of the pit. Essentially what this mechanic is you have to heavy melee the crystal up to 3 times, and it gives 3 respawns or rejuves upon each successful hit. I would say overall the mid-boss is a pretty straightforward objective. Just knowing when it spawns is pretty important. I would say what is most important is not when it initially spawns, but the respawn timing after the first spawn and after people kill it throughout the game. Thankfully, Valve has made it a little bit easier. They put a timer in the middle of your mini-map, so you can see how long it's going to be until the mid-boss comes up. This is arguably one of, if not the most important objective in the game. So it's very important that you properly track the timing of this objective and coordinate with your team to take it. Timing isn't the only thing that matters in Deadlock. Mechanics, positioning, and decision-making all play a vital role in the game. If you guys don't understand when objectives spawn and when they actually matter, you guys are putting yourself at a disadvantage. If you guys are curious where else you guys can find me, I am live most nights on Twitch, or right now I am pursuing top 1000 on the NA ladder. You guys can come in, feel free to come into the chat, ask me any questions you guys might have, but drop your rank down below in the comments and let me know what part of the game you guys are struggling with most, and I'll see if I can put out another video for you guys. So until next time, I appreciate you guys. Thanks.